Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to talk about some of the preposterous guidelines and factors that the ATF has so ambiguously put out in this notice of theirs on December the 18th. I've picked out of here some of the things that they are saying they're going to use in order to determine if something is an SBR, if it's equipped with a stabilizing brace, or not an SBR. In other words, remaining an AR pistol. They've put some of these factors in there and they've basically not identified or defined what they are, but said that they're going to use these factors in determining if you do in fact have an SBR. Firearm like this. Essentially, they're going to take caliber and weights. Now, if you take caliber, what they're saying is if you cannot control the recoil of that AR pistol that you're shooting with a stabilizer brace, then that's going to possibly be considered, and I say possibly because they don't say it will, they say it might or may be considered an SBR. However, if you're shooting the same caliber, this one actually being a 5.56, if you can manage that recoil, well, maybe it's not an SBR and can remain an AR pistol. The same exact firearm. You're shooting it, it's an SBR. You're shooting it, it's an AR pistol. How long or short my arms are. Now, they don't specifically say this. They just say that if your arm or if the brace itself comes back too far where your arm cannot actually have the brace affixed to it properly, according to them, because again, they do not define this. They don't say what properly is. But if I'm trying to affix this brace to my arm in its fully extended position, I still got a couple inches to go before it gets to my elbow. So you're telling me that if this particular brace fits my arm as a 6'1" person, somebody who's 5'5", who has shorter appendages than me, this thing might hit them up by the elbow. So now this would be considered an SBR to a short person, and this would be considered an AR pistol to me. The next very ambiguous factor is how strong or weak I am. Now look, the ATF doesn't actually say that in this notice. They just simply imply that weakness and strength is going to be a deciding factor, so to speak. What I mean by that is they're saying that if the AR pistol equipped with whatever magazine is light enough to be able to still hold it with one hand and shoot it one-handed, then it might be considered, still considered an AR pistol in their eyes. However, if I take this 30-round magazine out and I put a 50-round magazine in, if it makes it too heavy for me, in other words, if I'm trying to hold this thing up, I can't hold it with 50 rounds, now I have an SBR. SBR, AR pistol. The next really ambiguous factor is how closely my brace might resemble a stock. They've decided that if your brace pretty closely resembles, again, I'm defining it about as accurately as they are. If your brace is kind of, sort of, it kind of resembles a stock, this would be, you got it, an SBR and not a pistol. If you were to take this brace off and put one on that did not resemble an actual stock, then it would remain an AR pistol. Stupid, right? The next factor that the ATF has, and this may be the one that I actually fall under as far as filing suit against them with the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, is how good or bad your eyesight is. Yes, I know, as stupid as that sounds, that is something that's going to matter. Let me tell you why. They are saying that depending on the eye relief, that may mean that you are shooting either an SBR or an AR pistol. Now, they're not saying how far up or how far back the object actually needs to be. They're simply saying what the eye relief is. Let me explain something to you. I have one of the world's worst astigmatisms. My cornea is shaped like a football per the eye doctor that told me that. My eye relief is much different than anybody else's, regardless of the optic that's actually on the AR pistol. So what they're saying is, if this is my eye relief, that might be not so good. Because I'm a little close, even though, as you can tell, I am not shouldering this thing. I have a cheek weld on it, and I'm holding it with both hands. I may need to get this close in order to see that. Again, I'm not shouldering this device. They're saying this is an acceptable length because this thing was meant to be fired from one hand or with one hand and from the forearm, not the shoulder, or not cheek welded like I had it. So this is acceptable, like this. This is not acceptable. They're certainly saying that this is not acceptable. This is way too close for me anyway. But they're saying there's a big difference between this and this. So it's not going to matter what you have on your AR pistol. It's going to matter who's looking at it. So you're telling me that I could equip my AR pistol like this and it could function perfectly whether I have the stock extended, the brace extended, or the brace pushed in like this. That might be my most comfortable way to shoot. So they're saying that if they take this same firearm from me and they put it like this, yet they don't get the same eye relief, they can't focus on it, but if they put it back here, now they can focus on it. Because they can focus on it from back here, but I can't, means now that I have, you got it, an SBR, not an AR pistol. Guys, I am purposely trying to point out the ridiculous, stupid, ambiguous nature of the factors that they have put into this notice. Because this is in here, guys. There is no measuring. Look, there's no numbers in here. We're talking about things that weigh a certain amount. We're talking about things that are a certain length. We're talking about a length of pull that is a measurable length of pull. There are no dimensions or measurements or weights in this entire notice. None of it is. It's all things that might be used. And if we use them, we may consider these things. That's why, guys, we have got to go out. We've got to go to this Federal Register. We have got to comment on it. Look, it makes a difference. It took around 80,000 comments to reverse the green tip ban that they were trying to implement. We're already over 40-something, 50,000 comments. We could easily throw in millions of comments because there's 4 million braces out there. There's gazillions of gun owners out there. We should be in the millions of comments, not the tens of thousands. Let's go out there, guys. You're gonna find the links in my comments, my description below. Also, don't forget to put the docket number. The docket number, I have seen some of the letters out there that do not have a docket number and they're still being included in there, but you really need to have that docket number in there because that's going to make absolutely sure that that gets counted as a countable comment whenever you put it into the Federal Register. So please make sure you do that. Guys, I will provide all the links. If I ever don't provide the links, point out that I have not, and I will in fact put those in there so we can go out there and make efficient work of this comment section.